The moment I challenged the king to a one-on-one duel, the whole place fell silent. When he didn't respond, I snapped 6 arrows in my hands. Then I pulled out the last arrow I had, and I raised it directly toward the king. Seeing that, the king finally realized he couldn't stay seated any longer. All his subjects were watching from below, and losing to someone like me, a blind man, would crush his pride. So Jiha swung himself onto his warhorse, and started riding in fast circles around the arena. I focused hard and finally locked onto where he was, but out of nowhere, he had already hurled a spear. It shot toward me with incredible speed. Thankfully, it didn't hit me. I lifted my bow again and took a long breath. I calmed my thoughts and pulled the string back to aim. This was my final opportunity, but the king had figured out what I relied on. He kept closing in, weaving side to side unpredictably. The sound of his horse's hooves shook my concentration again, but I forced myself to stay focused. Then, at the most crucial second, the king changed his approach. He slid one foot out of the stirrup and leaned far down along the right side of his horse. The sudden move stunned the crowd. But I had already sensed something off about his saddle earlier, and the moment I lifted into the air, I released the bowstring. The arrow cut forward in a clean, fast line. The king didn't have time to react at all. Everything was decided in that instant. Everyone assumed they would let me leave afterward, but unexpectedly, the iron gate creaked open and a lion stepped out. A wave of tension swept across the arena. They thought I had no chance of surviving this, but they still underestimated what I was capable of. Right as the lion lunged, I shifted aside and dodged the strike. I took a hit, but it wasn't serious. That mistake made the lion drop its guard. It charged at me again. I listened closely to its movement, then stepped back and raised the battle axe in my hand. The moment it leapt, I threw the axe with everything I had. The moment I challenged the king echoed in my mind once again.